Alright guys, Original Gamer here, and if some of you guys might remember that a while back I did a DevPro duels of a worm deck, and I never made a deck profile of it, and somebody asked me to do the deck profile. Des Hazard, I think is his name, but here it is. Bet you thought I forgot about you, huh? Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead with the deck list, you guys. This deck is extraordinarily fun. This is, one of those things I started doing because I was bored. I play one Worm King. I went back and forth between 1 and 2. You absolutely do not want to draw this guy. You want him in your deck for Nebula. And the reason I ran 2 is just in case I did draw him, there was a second one in the deck still. Which was pretty much my only argument. And, I'd just rather use the space for other things. I mean, if you draw them, that sucks, but you still plus a lot off W Nebula Meteorite regardless. And if you do draw them, you only need to tribute 1 monster, as long as it's a worm anyway. So it's not too terrible. Then you run 3 Worm Zex. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing this wrong. I always call him Worm Sex anyway. So he's your beat stick, your 18 on your beater. You normal summon him, and you get to Foolish Burial, a worm card, and usually it's going to be Yoggen for to special summon Yoggen back for the combo. And of course we play 3 Yoggen. You flip this card up, and you bounce something, and it can be special summoned on the field as long as you got if the only other monster you control is Worm Zex. After he leaves the field, he gets banished. But if you exceed summon something with it, it doesn't get banished whenever it goes to the graveyard. So generally, whenever you bring him back, you want to get that bounce quickly and then overlay, hopefully, as fast as you can, so you don't get this card banished. Because it's really nice to, have this card in the graveyard for Zex play. He's your 1800 defender as well. And then we got your Searcher, Worm Cardaros. You flip him, you get to search a reptile type worm monster and add it from your deck to your hand. This is just your basic worm engine. If you ever played this worm deck, you know that that's just stapled in there, those 9-10 cards. 1 Thunder King Ryo. The deck only really searches off Cardaros, I believe. Oh, and you run Duality, but this card is just amazing. It's not like this deck's not solely based around searching, so this locks down lots of decks. This is a stun deck, so or a grind deck, so. And I ran double Traptrix Murmillo. I still like this card. I'm still going to run this card in here. It's fantastic. It's another great standalone monster in my opinion, besides Thunder King. It's a level 4, and thank God your King of the Pharaoh Imps is a generic rank 4, so you can make that and search stuff even more later. 1 Honest, because everything's light. A lot of your extra deck monsters are light also, so great card. Not much you need to say about Honest. And you run triple MST because nobody likes back row. And to even go further on nobody likes back row, I run double Lance. And you can use this either attacking or defense offense or defensive, or save your monsters from back row. Book of Moon, you can flip your Cardaros down, flip it back up, which I have done it in the video too. I had a Nebula, and I activated Nebula, and then I chained Book of Moon to flip my Cardaros down. And then whenever it got flipped down by Book of Moon on Chainlink 2, and then it went to Chainlink 1, Nebula flipped Cardaros, got a search, flipped him back down for a draw, special summon my Worm King, and next turn got to flip him right back up again for another search after I drew for the turn on top of that. Crazy nuts plays you can play with Book of Moon, on top of it being just a fantastic card in general. Pot of Duality, this deck's extraordinarily slow. You don't really special summon that often. You definitely can make use of this card. Searches your combo pieces, get you the W Meteorite as fast as possible. You know, this is one of those decks that can just really benefit from running Pod Duality. Now going on to the trap count, it's rather large trap count. 3 W Nebula Meteorite. This is the reason this deck is so insanely good. I mean, it's good in its own right, I guess, but this card, if anything made it competitive, it's this card. This card is amazing. The pluses you get off this card are absolutely ridiculous. And this card is the reason that I even looked at Worms in the first place. And it was a while back. I had my Worm deck for a long time. I actually took first place with locals the first time I ever ran it, and it just sat at my box and never played it again. And you know, recently I pulled it back up on DevPro, and I built it again. I'll probably take it to locals again. This deck is really fun, and on a local level, you probably do really good with it, in my opinion. Especially people who won't be expecting it. You know, a lot of people don't know what Worms do, so whenever they see them do crazy things like this deck can do, they're just like, hey? You got your Warning, Bottomless, Void Trap Pool, 2 Void Trap Pools. Now, you can replace, in my opinion, you can replace this with any other trap pool you want. I was at one time running the Trap Tricks, or whatever, whole trap pool card. It actually says Trap Tricks in the name, Nightmare Dark Hole or something like that. A Nightmare Trap Hole, but I decided to go with Double Void Trap Hole because I liked it better. You can even replace this with a Trap Hole. I mean, Trap Hole hits so many other cards. Like it'd hit Thunder King, it'd hit Yamato, it'd hit Kirkion, the Constellar guy. I can't remember the Constellar guy's name right now. Wow. Yeah, any basically normal summon 1,000 attack or higher, it just hits everything. So it's great card 2 to consider. Torrential, double Mirror Force to round up the mass removal. I hear a lot of people falling in favor of Mirror Force. I don't know. And I run double Dimensional Prison on top of that. If you ask me, a lot of these cards, like once you get to this far in the trap lineup, these are techs. Like you could switch these out with anything you want. I mean, if you want to run 7 tools, you want to run Black Horn of Heaven, you want to run, make this your own deck. I went with D Prisons, and triple Phoenix Chain. You can't go wrong with this card. This card is absolutely amazing. I just love this card. Love it, love it, love it, love it. 2 Call the Haunted, because field presence is important and you run a very small monster count. This card alone has saved me many times. Bring back a monster so I could exceed. Bring back Zex and special summon Yagan from my graveyard. Just great card. Just you can make some pretty nutty plays. Or just, keep the ball rolling. You can even bring back Murmillo and pop back row, so that's another good thing about that. Alright, now, going to the extra deck. I run double King of the Pharaoh Imps. This card, early game, if you don't have Zex, is your setup card. You definitely want to get this as, you usually get this out and you only need 1. I run 2 because most of the time, the first one you summon dies. Like, they'll get rid of it, Effect Veiler it, and then run it over next turn, whatever. Or Phoenix Chain it, and the second one's the one that goes off. So I like to run 2. Also, if you ever think about running BLS, he's dark. Everything else in your main deck's light, so you could run BLS, which I tried testing out in the video a couple times. Also, Kage de Kage is a good main deck card. If you want to run 2 fewer back row and throw 2 Kage de Kages in there, it helps for generic rank 4 plays. And yeah, it's just all around good card in my opinion. Concealer Mega card. I love this card. Some decks you can get this card out and it's just an auto win, especially against Gravekeepers. Like I don't know. There's a couple people down in my locals that love to run Gravekeepers, and as soon as they see me try to go for this, I mean, if they don't have Warning, they're basically screwed. Unless they want to chain, waste 2 of their back row cards to chain over top of it, which is a thing. But usually, as long as they don't have warning, this card is near unstoppable to them. I run 1 Starleech Paladynamo because that extra 2k can win games. And you know, when he dies, you get to draw. He's a really good card. I was running 2, dropped him down for another 101. Exciting. Not much to say about this card. This, if you're losing, you can summon this card and basically turn the tide of the duels. Extraordinarily broken. Like, if there was ever a broken XYZ, I think this one's it. And of course, double 101. This card is so extraordinarily nutty. Like, I can't really. If you haven't played with this card, you need to just to realize how much. Like, if you ever play a game with anybody anymore, you have to worry about this guy nonstop. Just like Excite Knight, you have to worry about your advantage not getting too overwhelming because you don't want to get Excite Knight. That just sucks. But this card here makes you rethink about how you summon your boss monsters a lot of the time, like Dracossack. People summon him in attack mode a lot and just leave him there because they're like, you can't get rid of him unless you got like maybe a Compulse or something. But most every deck will run this card. They'll summon it, steal it, no problem. The 2 tokens are no problem at all. And you're down a Dracossack. Card is, and then there's wars. I've had wars with this with my friends, and I'm sure everyone knows what I mean by if you summon this card in attack mode, if they can make a rank 4, they're going to 101, you're 101, and then it's just going to go back and forth until no one has 101s again. Unless one of you is smart enough to summon this in defense so that they can't take it. A lot of the cards now, you just gotta, if you're not gonna tag with them, put them in defense, because this card just wins games just because you can take shit like that. It's awful but good. 1 Maestroke because he's awesome. 1 Abyss Dweller because I failed a game because I didn't have it and I'll never take it out again. Cowboy, Burn Beater, great card. Diamond Dyer, spot removal. Zen Maester. There is combos with this card that kind of works like Nebula Meter, right, where you can just keep flipping and getting advantage off Carderos and flipping Yoggen. So he's in here. That's the only reason he's in here, because this deck can actually make use of it. Crazy Box. This spot right here, you could probably fill with whatever the hell you wanted. Like, I think I had Ouroboros, Black Ship Corn, and then now Crazy Box. I just like the option to have something to go into when someone's got skill drain on the field. Like, because this deck gets hurt by skill drain just like any other deck, and if you can actually, get to make this card, it's like you're out to skill drain. And then 1 M7 because you run your Omegas, and overlaying this on top of, I used up Omegas, awesome for, an extra 300 attack, and then you get to add maybe a Zex back to your hand, or an Honest back to your hand, so you can do some good stuff with that card as well. Now that is the end of my Worm deck profile. I want you guys to let me know what you think about it. There may have been, like, from what I was playing earlier, like in my Dev Pro duels that you wanted to see, I might have changed the deck quite a bit since then. So I think I was like 2 cards different from what I ran on there, and I just couldn't think what they were. So I threw Deep Prison in. That's basically what I did. I threw Deep Prison in. So sorry about that. It's not perfectly the same as the Dev Pro duels, because it was a good while since I played it. So this is basically it, though. As always, guys, thank you for watching. Have a nice day. You got any suggestions for the deck, comment them. I do read them. Otherwise I probably wouldn't have made this video. Have a nice day, guys.